Happy Scorpio full moon to the sign that this is. I just want to thank you guys for being here with me. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it because I'm being conservative with my storage and my space on my freaking device. But thank you guys so much for being here. We'll get right to it. We've got the Crystal Resonance and the Aquarian Tarot. I'm just going to go ahead and pick who we're going to go ahead and do next. Sagittarius. Okay, let's do it, Sag. Happy Scorpio full moon to you, Sagittarius. I think this is going to be a very impactful one for you all. I'm just intuiting Sag has been on a very unique arc, a very unique journey of, I think, actually like reconnecting with self. I think that's been the biggest theme I could say for Sagittarius in recent years. Has been reconnecting with the true core essence of like who we are as Sagittarians, what our energy and our element is, like reacclimating with all of that, because our fire cannot go out. And I think that, you know, it has a lot to do with the way that we respect our elders in the world. And as the eldest fire sign Sag, I just feel like Scorpio really, really wants to make sure that it can help you alleviate and move away things that truly keep you from being deeply connected to who you are, which is when you're at your best. So the first message that we've got for you guys, Sagittarius, the overview is prayer. Okay, and so perhaps at this time, like again, one of the things that I feel like the Scorpio full moon might have really released you into is like reconnecting with the root of like, what are your prayers for this world? And you know, I think I keep saying Capricorn. I think Sagittarius really needs to reconnect deeply with, you know, the prayer that it takes to stay in prosperity, right? And I also feel like there's a big emphasis for Sagittarius at this time about an authentic connection with source to produce prosperity. And I think, you know, one thing that I can say, Sag, is we don't ever want to be using a higher power just to receive prosperity. Like the universe, the forces that be, whatever it is that you believe in that is a unifying force. I won't ever say something that's higher, whether it's your higher self. The idea that something is bigger or more conscious than you is that it can unify aspects of yourself that this linear experience can't bring to you. And I just think this is a big message about Sagittarians moving to an era where we aren't just praying for God to give us prosperity in the sense of like, you know, physical abundance or more things. Like this is about coming into an understanding of prayer that covers things that don't just have to do with how well you're doing physically or how much you're able to achieve, right? Things that like, you know, you also can rely on prayer in moments where, you know, you don't feel like you're worthy of prayer, right? In moments where it's like, I just really need restorative healing that I don't know how to start, or, you know, I really need to work on an apology, or I really need to work on reconnecting a connection, or whatever it is. I think a lot of times Sagittarians might not think that that's what prayer is reserved for, but in fact, a lot of prayer is, you know, we can make prosperity happen. God equipped us all to do so. But the thing that prayer really is reserved for is an actual connection. So I just feel like that's what is kind of being brought up right now, is like how there's a bit of like a vanity. It's like, what spectrum of like, is your prayer pretty much vain? Like, do you really only pray for people to fucking get food, drink, wine, the riches of life? Or do you really pray for like peace of mind? Like, do you really pray that like the things that are in your life that you're connected to like are internally well, or are feeling whole, or are uncovering truth about themselves? These are other ways that prayer can really affect the circumstances of our life. And they don't really have to they will add to our overall like non-physical prosperity, but they aren't also just about like getting more money, getting more stable, getting more, you know, having the best of this or that to someone else. So I think we're really talking about your actual connection to source right now, Sag. So let's see. Yes. I think Sagittarius, no matter whether you're on a low or a high vibration right now, this full moon, you were, bottom of your deck, using your creative manifesting abilities, your magician abilities, to create circumstances in your life that were meant to strengthen your God strength, so that you are as strong as your creator, as our collective creator really is, so that your strength is in that image. So again, I can get this for a low and a high vibrational time. Like there are a lot of Sagittarians that are realizing like and again, I'm holding space because you could literally be in the middle of the bad feeling right now, be in the middle of like the undoing that Scorpio does, and the demanding of emotional clarity, the demanding of truth and the clarity of that. Scorpio is like very forceful in that arena. And so it can be pushing you to confront that in maybe what may feel like a negative polarity or through a karmic lesson or whatever that may be. But if I can give you a high view, if we can sit together right now in this reflective space and talk about what's going on, what I would really tell you is happening, Sagittarius, is you created that circumstance, even if it was like something that you have now created karma from or a lesson you've now brought onto yourself. You created that because at a higher level, Sag, and you know this about yourself, you really move from a very detached, highly spiritual place. So a lot of times Sagittarians are not, like, you're past the 8th house, so you're good at bringing in lessons through the 8th house as well. You're good at facilitating changes indiscriminately, whether they are, you know, through trauma or whatever. Like, if a change needs to happen, you know that you have to achieve that understanding either way. And I just feel like Sagittarians under the Scorpio full moon, we're bringing in situations that we're going to finally give you strength so that you can stop repeating the same loops. Because again, Spirit wants your prayers of prosperity to be answered, but I think there was a certain strength of character, a strength of sense and reliance on your own internal strength that needed to be strengthened in order for you to have the prosperity that you really are trying to call in with your prayer. Like, Spirit's like, I just hear Spirit be like, Sag, we hear you. We definitely hear how bad you want things, but you're missing the part of it that requires you to be stronger. You know, because I see a lot of Sagittarians feeling victimized, that it seems like, why does it feel like God isn't hearing my prayers of prosperity? Why does it feel like, a lot of Sagittarians really have that attitude, right? That attitude where it's like, hello, like, I'm trying to be abundant, I'm trying to be prosperous, and the universe is like, yeah, that's great. But that is just a reflection of God's strength, a certain tier. So it's not ever, and I think you're going to see that, Sag, oh, when you get some of these things, it's like, oh, it was never that I couldn't have these things, or that these things weren't real. It was actually just that, like, I had to be stronger. It's the truth, right? How many cycles have we gone creating things where we have yet to increase our strength? I think too, a lot of the Sag can come with, because you guys, you're meant to live like amorously. Like, everybody loves a fucking Sagittarius. Are you kidding me? You guys are so amorous. You flow through life. You embody all of the intangible wisdoms, and so many people around you can, like, know that you have such a good grip on, like, deducing what life experiences are really about. But that can also breed an air of entitlement, right? It can also breed an air of like, well, when I'm so good to the abundant life of like knowing how because again, a Sagittarius is going to understand the laws of the universe naturally. They don't even have to verbalize and know what they're doing. They're going to be in the flow of the natural laws, right? Law of attraction, law of assumption, like all of these laws that like bring like life together and make it happen. Sag is there. You naturally were born there. But I just think that the strength that God was trying to show you under the Scorpio full moon, that you need to be stronger. You need to have developed yourself. You need to keep evolving. You can't just reach a certain level of prosperity and think that omits you from having to constantly move, grow, and ascend up and out, right? So I think that that's what's really happening, is like you are going to be able to say like, well, whatever's happening right now, whatever change, you're out of the victim paradigm. So you know you created it. Like, it's very, like, I feel like at this time, Scorpio is not going to let you blame anybody else. So whatever is manifesting under the Scorpio full moon, because all of us are manifesting some sort of lifestyle, like, God has also put it to where like Sagittarius they're not going to be able to say someone else did this. So where you're standing right now, Sag, you created 100%, which I think was needed. I think the universe needed to balance so that you can know that it wasn't circumstance. You got what you wanted. Even if what you wanted was not in alignment with your highest good. Even if you were out here saying you wanted something that was actually going to hurt you, say you're going to self-sabotage, it doesn't matter, Sag. What you said you wanted, you got in its entirety. And so now you're realizing like, oh, the only difference between getting this and not having this was like how strong I was as a person. So there's a lot of reflecting going on, I feel like, for the Sagittarian energy about how ethically we went about getting our prayers answered. And like how well we understand the connection of prayer and result, and how prayer reflects ourselves. The prayers that we send up are a reflection of who we are. And this is another huge thing for Sagittarian energy. You know, you are also realizing, I think, Sagittarius, one of the biggest things that I also think Spirit was strengthening you to come up against is Sagittarius was like creating scenarios. The last reading we talked about like partnership for you, and we already know you're the OG lover, girls and boys of the world, right? But I really think that you were being challenged to be strong enough. Like, I think a lot of Sagittarians were like, a prosperous life would be the one where I'm matched, I'm mirrored, I'm in love, I'm happy, I'm amorous, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, right? Those are all things that a Sagittarius wants. I have my freedom, you know, I can create, I can move around, I can expand. And so the way that Spirit grew you, because this is the message that I'm getting, it's like Sagittarius, one of your prayers was like, you want the partnership, you want the lover story, you want to come into contact with the soulmate. And I think you were actually getting irritated with Spirit, like, what the fuck, like, why, like, what, and I think that there could, regardless of vibration, you could have been doing a lot of things to, like, maneuver that and manufacture that. And outside of all the control you thought you were trying to have and conduct, you didn't have control. It was never a control thing. It wasn't like controlling it into being. It was literally in the end, like, you need to be stronger. Like, I think you want a husband, and we get that, Sag, but you're not vibrationally aligned to your husband, the real soulmate. Why are you not vibrationally aligned to that person? Because you're not strong enough, right? Like real love, you have to have the strength of self. You have to be able to develop out, because again, when I think of strength, I think of the heart chakra. And I just feel like the strength of your heart, right? A lot of people want love, but God will never give you soulmate love if you're going to use it to save you, if you're going to use it and to codepend on it. Right? You have to be strong enough. You have to mirror the love so you can join into the love as a third party with your partner equally, right? Rather than needing this love to fuel certain things about you. And I think Sagittarius was just coming up across so much of that outside of themselves, like other dynamics, other people that are in their lover era. And what I think you can see now with a lot more self-awareness is like, oh, okay, the thing that those people have that I didn't have, because again, I just get this like chip that Scorpio is not removing, they're giving you awareness of. There's no chip tap on your shoulder, because having a chip on your shoulder would mean you're not being accountable in some way. Everything that's happening to you is of your own creation. That's what I feel like the universe is giving Sagittarius, that like, all right, like Sag, you're too elder of an element to be playing around, so nobody's going to treat you like a baby anymore. You are creating all of this stuff, and you are creating this from the awareness or the negligence that you have to be strong enough for whatever you want to call in. So there is no chaos to go cause in other people's lives, Sagittarius, when in the end of the day, you just want a lover, and you're not accepting that you have to be strong enough to be vibrationally aligned to have that manifestation come into you. And you know this because when you want a fucking new couch, you know how to manifest that, right? But I think when these things can't be bought, right? When we talk about the things that are intangibles, when it's not just like your favor, your hot, good looks or whatever, when those things can't actually get you some of the intangibles you're asking for because they're a God tier, right? A soulmate, a life partner, that would be on your path, but you got to be doing what God needs you to do before God just administers that blessing, because you're just going to use it for your own nefarious shit, and you're never going to get actually the ideal out of it. You'll never actually even get the perfected relationship that really mirrors you in a healthy, constructive way, because you aren't actually in that yourself, even if you guys weren't bonded together. And I think you're learning that. But again, I just feel like there was, for Sagittarius, you have been spending cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle looking around at all these bitches who have love, and you're wondering like, what the fuck? Where's that for me? Where is that for me? This is huge. Because what's manifesting is the star, right? Spirit was trying to move you forward to be in your star energy. So like I said, if you're a high vibrational Sagittarian energy, you were just realizing that whatever prosperity was waiting, if you're like me, like I have a 9th house stellium, and one of the biggest things that teaches me, because it's like Sag minus any of the Sag privilege. It's just like the actual ethics of Sag, like what Sag is going to do. So for me, one of the things that I realize is like my husband and I will move from the situation when we are strong enough for the things that we're trying to call in. I document here all the things they go to. I really do a good job of filtering out so much so that I also am we're doing my business where I'm establishing a rapport of trust, like where I'm not putting on a mask for you guys, but I'm also not like giving you like trauma dumping and giving you my shit. Like even if I have to show you like when I'm being evicted or when I'm like in my car, I'm still giving you a channel message like from the car. Like I just, you know what I mean? So, but part of one of the biggest things that I healed in my own Sagittarian energy was like, I have to understand that like, there is no one to blame for where I am. And if there's something that I've worked hard at that I really want, and it hasn't arrived in the manifestation or in the format that I want yet, every time the only thing that I realize is like, I got to keep going. Like right now doing the zodiac sign, it's like, okay, things have changed, but I don't want to stop here. So I have to keep going. I have to keep going through whatever initiations, whatever strength building exercises my heart needs and I won't stop until I'm there. It's the truth. I will not stop until I've arrived at what I really wanted. And that's what the passage with spirit is. When you're in that boat, when you're in that vortex and you're going to the center of your authenticity, you just keep going until you really have fully aligned. And I think a lot of Sagittarius, that's the other thing, is like wanting to give up because of like results-based thinking. And it's like the only result is what you've envisioned and who you are. And if you haven't reached either of those things, if you're not embodying either of those things, then there's nothing to stop. You're not done. You know, we heard you. You said the prayer, but I think there's no more of these Sagittarians pimping out the divine. Like, God, I prayed for this. Where is it? And then just looping. Like, I think also I'm seeing a lot of like religious Sagittarians just like praying for stuff, but like you have to match that with a change in yourself. Like you're asking for things to completely flip upside down, but you have not changed in years. Structurally who you are, there hasn't been much evolution, right? So, and that can go for anyone, but I'm just saying, Sagittarius, when you're at this place where you're getting irritated or you're almost like relying religiously on like, I've always just prayed for this and I'll just wait. You don't even have to wait when it comes to prayers. And again, prayers aren't sent up to some man upstairs. That's not what's happening. Prayers are a vibrational alignment. There are throat chakra magic. There are ways of manifest destiny. There are ways that your words speak spells over your life in terms of how reprogramming your thoughts, reprogramming the grid and the field that you're on, and the field responds to your prayers, right? The energetic field that you're in, not just like some entity that's like, cool, it's not Santa Claus up there fucking granting wishes. And I think like, Sagittarius, I think you are also, as wise as you are getting indoctrinated through a very new understanding of spirituality, because it needs to be much more embodied, you know? It's not just messages in a bottle. Like, it does also need to be an extension of your own energy. It's not something that it's not like just the bohemian lifestyle. No, it's like you really do need to like actually understand that like the source is not, it's not benign. Like just say a prayer and like that's gonna take care of it. It can be in this, it's huge. And I say all this because it looks like, Sagittarius, you are finally, in the recent past, coming away from devil energy that I don't think you were integrating as an extension of you. Like, I'm seeing that in the recent past, like, Sag was showing up as the devil energy. Yeah. In your own toxicity, right? Not just, like, the devil in general, but, like, you were showing up in your own toxicity. You were representing that. You were creating this. And so all you got on the Scorpio full moon is now you're going to be responsible for creating something that strengthens your heart, because a weakened heart space is the reason you'll take deals from the devil. When you're Sag, and I'm holding space, if you are going through something that weakens your heart, that leaves you weak, right? Like you don't even have enough time to pray anymore because you are attached to something, you're codependent on something that is actually succubus energy, that is actually not going to give you anything back. The devil's going to write a fake contract that's going to disappear into thin air. It's going to be like invisible ink. You're going to make the deal, you're going to have to carry it out, and the devil pays you nothing. So if you keep, like I just get Sagittarians that were going through that cycle over and over again with the same demon, and this might be, it can be a demon you inherited from parents or from just ancestrally. It could be something that you've walked with for a long time, but I feel like the walking past is that now you realize, well, the only way to, like, again, sometimes the only way to stop doing and creating something you've been creating is to start to figure out what you're going to create now that's different. So you needed to literally have a break and stop creating this, stop doing this, stop being interested and attracted to toxicity, actually, Sagittarius, right? Because then you're in your day, like what I'm just getting revealed is like, Sagittarius, in your day-to-day life, you're attracted to toxicity, but then you be sending up these fucking goody two-shoe prayers like, please God, just, and then it's, and nothing's happening, right? And so that's why I get that, like right now, God is really putting in my face that like Sag really wants Six of Cups. They want like soulmates in their life. They want people that are really for them. And I just feel like this is a little bit more of a sobering message for you, Sagittarius, with the Scorpio full moon, and it matches what you're probably feeling, but God is really like, that's fine, but you really do at the end of the day need to become a stronger person in your heart, because there is a cost to constantly being in toxic devil bondage all the time. It's going to weaken your heart chakra, which is what sources your entire life. Holy cow. Yep, Sag, the moon, you're the first sign where the moon card, the Scorpio full moon, has come out, which means it leads me to believe you needed this Scorpio full moon's medicine more than any other motherfucker right now. And this Scorpio full moon is like, Sag, you've got to integrate your shadow, because all of your judgment, your guilt, and your shame is embedded in your shadow, which is now festered into demons that you walk with. Things that you carry with you that you don't need to carry with you because they're just rooted from some wound you once had. But I just feel like the releasing of that, like I think, like I said, Sag, like you have this ambition, but again, and if you think that you can try to turn this into a soulmate, you can't. I think there's something about having such a weakened heart that like you always want to find shortcuts because it's too hard. You can't, like, you don't even have the endurance or the stamina to like stay the course, is what I'm really getting with Sag. Just like when you're so weak, you don't actually have the stamina to like do things, and that's usually why people will take like shortcuts. But I'm just getting like you're taking shortcuts on things like love, partnerships, like stuff that like you really need to be more of a battery in your life than you need to like be a succubus by any means. And so, but when you never have fucking energy because it's all rooted to the things you haven't let go of, that you need to know, Sagittarius, like this energy does not even belong to you. Like you've been rolling around with the devil energy, but the devil is like indiscriminately like all over the place in everybody's energy all the time. And so like carrying it like your favorite purse is just not gonna do anything. It's, in fact, it's going to make you start like really having, it's gonna isolate you. I just get that this moon for Sagittarius might have been extremely isolating as well. Like it left you with just you. It left you with just you, and it also left you with this a little bit harsher of a message that's like, whatever partnerships you do or don't have to do with how much strength you have. Straight up. That's it. Look at this. Okay, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. Look at the kitty right now. Look at you, Sag. Okay, kitty, hold on. Titties, hold on, bud. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's see. Sag, do you see this? Okay, Sag. The guys need me to do the impossible all the time. Oh my God, there's cat. I don't know if this is gonna work out, titties. Sorry. Okay. But did you see that, Sag? Did you see that? But that's what I feel. I feel like realistically, Sag, like you're being left under this moon to integrate your whatever shadows you have, or you're just doing that reflection. Like I said, you could be a high vibrational Sag and understand at this time. Like the moon was going to reduce you just to yourself to see, to really take a lens at all of this, to really see like what, like, because you could be someone who has the strength and you realize now, like, the reason I have this amazing partner in my life and this wonder has to do with me. Like at the end of the day, I feel like the universe wants you to give yourself the flower, Sag. It wants you to know that, like, well, anything that you have is a reflection of how strong you are. If you have a shitty fucking partner that actually hurts you and is toxic, well, that still comes back to your internal strength, right? If you're like me right now, where it's like my relationship is the most phenomenal, like just it pours back into me in ways that I can't even describe, I also need to understand that that has to do with my own strength. It has to, I always have to keep it a POV on Alexis about how, like, yeah, but in order to call in a dentist like that, like I had to really grow in myself. I had to be stronger to be ready to have a fucking husband as amazing as the one that I have. You know what I mean? And it couldn't, I couldn't go by and not integrate my shadow and think that I could get the same shit off the top. I can't. Because Dennis has a certain value, and he doesn't deserve just any old thing. And he wouldn't be attracted to just any old thing, but he was attracted to me, and I need to understand that. That came from my own strength. So being left alone, and again, I'm holding, look at that. Look at him being attracted to my energy. But being Sagittarius, so you're going through a crucifixion right now. And I feel like for a lot of Sagittarians, you've like never really probably like, I don't know if like being crucified by others is a thing. Like Sagittarian knows hardship and knows like having to like embody hope, like being in like, but I don't think because you're so used to having the like amorous, amazing personality that we all know you to have, I don't know if you do too well when like the people you're around crucify you, when it's time for us to put you on the cross. And I want you to know, Sag, the crucifixion that is oncoming under this Scorpio full moon is for this. I don't think Sag has also ever volunteered for a crucifixion because I don't know if you've ever met something of a soul quality. So let me tell you, Sag, the full moon is trying to get you aligned with your real lover energy, soulmate energy, energies that recognize your energy signature. And they're doing so by, everyone has to do this. And mind you, Sag, I think you are just going to feel like don't take it personally. All of us, I put my crucifixion on the internet. So you know, we all have to go through a crucifixion if we want to be coronated with something. But I think there's no more of this Sagittarius like thinking that you can get $1 billion fucking partner or spouse for the $5.99 price. Like I feel like Sag is always like, why do I have to pay that much? Why do I have to die for my partner? Like Sag, you can't, because partnership is not an isolated thing. You're not alone. It's not just you in the marriage. It's not just you in the relationship. It's not just you in the community. It's not just you in the family, Sagittarius. It's you and some other people, right? People that you're responsible for building trust with. And so just know whatever crucifixion you're going through is going to help them have more, like establish a rapport of trust, and know that no matter how unchecked your shadow might be or how unintegrated it might be, like people want to be around you, but they need to know that the universe is going to have its way in your life if you ever get out of balance the way that it has ours. Because again, Sagittarius, there's no just like moral elitism with you anymore. There's no more just, so I said, this is where you're currently at, Sag. I love you to death, okay? You know that? To death, as in let's die to the lies, Sag. Because you can't keep, Sagittarius, I want you to understand, you can't, under Scorpio full moon, you can't fake being in union with yourself. You cannot fake this. You were never getting away with it. You were never like, no, because no person that's actually in union is going to get around a Sagittarius who's like, oh, I'm in union with myself, when they're not. Like, it's a resonance. It's like, I resonate with, like, if I have to get the fuck away from you right now, that means you're not, to some degree, you're not in union with yourself. Because that's what I am. I'm very self-aware. I know that I've lived my whole life. Let me tell you, the version of Alexis that you're getting right now, she didn't always exist. She didn't. No, for majority of the time, she didn't exist. And the difference between the previous versions of me and the version that I am now is that this one is in union. And this one can account for how I came into union. I've documented that and I've shown you exactly how I did it. And it didn't come from fucking lying to myself about how little I was doing for myself, right? And I just feel like, Sagittarius, that is through and through what we're being seen for. Wherever in your life, you can't run from Scorpio energy. That's your fucking sissy. That's your bestie. Don't run from it, because Scorpio tells the clear truth. Scorpio's like, girl, no, you're not. Scorpio's not just like, oh, you're getting pudgy. No, Scorpio's like, you're like, if you've had some drastic awakening, it has to do with a lifestyle choice. Scorpio's going to talk to you about what the fuck you're actually doing in your life that they've witnessed you change. Well, actually, I can say you stopped moving completely. You started eating like you don't care about yourself, and that's what happened. As I'm talking about Scorpio, bro, you need to let Scorpio, because Scorpio is coming right now, Sagittarius. It wants you to have a better foundation. Because I think that Sagittarian did that thing where you put your bow and you know, because you're a good archer, you can hit a target. But it's not just about, because you can maybe manifest something, right? You can get the new house, you can get a new bow, you can get a new fucking car, right? But if your energy is the same, you're gonna go put that same old stinky old energy in the new shit you just manifested. So there's just no, Scorpio wants you to get real. It wants you to stop manipulating. It wants you to be serious about the reality of like, how nothing matters if it's not embodied, right? Nothing that you have is going to really connect to you deeply or represent you if it's not embodied. Because Sagittarius, I think you just fear this. I think you fear this because you were born with the wound, because you're the eldest fire sign, that like you are too wild and too hard for anyone to seriously commit to and reflect full spectrum. But this is not a deserved thing. This is not about deservedness. This says you should be mirrored for every emotional, intuitive ounce of your body. It doesn't have to be right, correct, in alignment, anything. It says if you exist, they exist. And I think you feared that. I think you never, Sagittarius was like fearing the part of life where you had to also create emotional foundations. Sagittarius, no more starting fires and burning people's emotions to a crisp. Because you've never developed out your ability to like be there for people's emotional capacity. Right? No more, I'm just a Sag, I don't know. No more of that, right? Because you need it. You need people who mirror your, like that don't just roast you. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this devil is the thing that kept you getting further and further away from this. Because your outcome, Sag, your outcome says this, Sagittarius. Your dream will reflect what you are literally going to reap what you sow. This Scorpio full moon could not, it's like, and I think that's so needed for Sagittarians, because I think you guys play victim a lot, and you're too empowered and you're too much of a leader in the element that you are and the age of your soul that you are, to be seriously actually out here being like, something that is turning out in my life is not connected to like what I put in. You're going to get exposed for that. If people desert you, if you're isolated, if you lose support, if you lose money, if you lose a relationship, like it is connected to you, and it does say quite a bit about you. Right? And there's just no more of like, when it comes to everyone else, like it's your fault, y'all aren't getting it together. Sag loves to be the moral police and look at somebody else's shit and be like, and that's why this is fucked up. Like, you know, like I said, my mother's a Sagittarius, okay? The first thing she's gonna tell me every time is, you're a controlling bitch, you're gonna ruin your marriage, no one likes you. She said that shit to me like 3 weeks ago, straight up. But when it comes to her own life, I don't think there's ever gonna be a connection to like, oh, I don't have any friends. Oh, my kids don't like being around me. Oh, you know, my partner's not coming out over more than 2 days a week. There's no connection to how, well, it's about how much you're putting into that relationship. If you want a nigga to be by your side 24/7, 7 days a week, whether you're rich or for poor, you'd have to put that in. So that's the thing that Scorpio is about to fucking show you, the proper mirror. It's like anything that you get out, it's based on what you put in. It's based on what you put in. So the dream that you're getting right now, Sag, remember, I think Sagittarius are getting a dream right now. I don't know how much it's aligned to your authentic truth. That would just be based on the vibration of Sagittarian you are. But you're getting a dream, and it's regardless of high or low, because I'm not going to just overharp. This isn't just a bad message. This is just you understand this. If you have your dream life right now, Sagittarius, and you're one of our high vibing Sagittarius, you know it's because you can't escape that anymore. You have to keep maintaining it with what you put into it. You get me? And I think that's just foundational for the evolution of Sagittarian energy, which is like, yeah, it's not just like shooting my arrow and just making a personality about how exacting I can be and getting what I want. It's also that like I don't even have to fucking play archer. I don't even have to shoot my bow. I can just be the quality of person that I want to receive out in the world. I can be that within so that it'll come to me naturally. I don't even have to do anything. You know, I don't have to pay for pussy. I don't gotta pray for prosperity. I don't have to do any of that shit. Because I know now the law of the universe that says you will get whatever dream, cosmic ecstasy that you ask for. And I just feel like Sagittarian, you're taking accountability, because for some of you, like maybe you asked for a dream reality right now that kind of has you crucified, that kind of has you like on your ass a little bit. And I just feel like Spirit was trying to let you know the whole time, you're learning a valuable lesson. You're going to get what you say and what you put I feel like you put your dollar behind this. So I just hope, Sagittarius, that you didn't do the thing from the wounding space. Like, because I get that, Sagittarius, you got exactly what you wanted under this full moon. But I think you're also getting yourself. I think everything that you got under this full moon is a big spoon of yourself. And I don't know how much you've been in love with who you've been and who you are. Which is why I'm encouraging you at this time to develop your divine connection with Source out to more than just praying for abundance and prosperity. You know, we don't even need to ask for things from the divine. We literally just need to have a constant connection and know we're not alone, because I think you got the dream world, but I think you're alone, which is fine. If you're one of our high vibing Sagittarius, you know being alone is great. You're never actually alone. But some of you actually do feel alone and you got everything you wanted. So now you realize it's not about money. It's not about whatever. These intangibles are about like things that like a divine connection like can't replace a divine connection. And our outcome, okay, because remember we started for you guys with prayer and intention in reverse. So I just feel like the new earth, I think our Sagittarians are off to a little bit of a rocky start in terms of, did you really intend? I think you prayed for new earth without intending for it. So I think sometimes Sagittarians can get on loop because maybe you're in survival mode, maybe you're whatever. That's what you've always seen people do, which is just like religiously praying for things. But what are you okay, so when that comes, what are you gonna do with it? And I just feel like, Sag, you might have made your whole life up of like praying to be the mother, praying to be the, you know, business owner, praying to be this person in my community, praying to be this for my family. And then it's like you haven't gone on the self-discovery to understand your purpose and your motivation. So now, you know, these prayers for prosperity, it's like Sagittarius really governs right now the people that are like receiving resources. Let this be a lesson, Sagittarius. You own this right now. You can need to tell people, I represent right now what asking for shit that you don't have a plan for will get you. Because there's so many people out here that work so hard to build up something with intention, who just that the favor that the Sagittarians have, they may not have. They may not always have people who just like them because their energy is amicable, you know? And so they could be but they could have other systemic things that hold them back that aren't Sag. And there's so many people that wish they had your energy so they could attract all the stuff they've worked hard for, Sag. So don't ever sleep on how favored you are. You know, don't ever fucking take that for granted. That, yeah, you have a specific energy. And it's not everybody like you are one of the more liked zodiac signs. There are certain zodiac signs of people that are not universally liked. And you don't even take that stuff into consideration because you're just so used to everything working out and, you know, I just have faith and hope and like, I'll shoot my arrow again. But I think right now is like, you're getting a prayer answered that I don't think you intended. You get what I'm saying? Just to teach you the lesson about intentionality, which is like the most important thing is like, what right? When I a lot of times when I'm dealing with conflict resolution in my like marriage or my personal, I always ask my partner, I'm like, so what, before we respond, what is your intention right now? Do you want to make your partner feel better, even if it's a misunderstanding or disagreement? Like if someone say like is crying and another person is just like caught off guard because they're not having an emotional response, I always just say like, you know, just remember what you're intending for, because I think sometimes when we're so one track minded on I'm praying for something right now and you just can't get in the way of that. You know, we don't realize that we're not really being intentional with what we're saying. And then when that all gets handed back to you, when like the universe just gives you everything you reaped, and everything that you've sown, I think it can be a little jarring to play back how we did that. And like, because I think whenever you get whatever you want out of life, I think the biggest point is that like, oh shit, I maybe didn't have to cut those people out. I didn't have to do them like that to get this. And I get when you're coming out of survival, Sagittarius, like sometimes it can feel like, I thought I had to do that. When I was in the boat and we were all surrendering, I thought I had to like stab somebody or murk somebody because I didn't think I was going to have what I wanted. But I'm getting that your prayer got answered, but then like now you have to answer for all these negative intentions that you might have unconsciously put out. So Sag, I am holding you in love and light. This is going to be a super special reading. I am manifesting that this reading is so needed for just a good air of 35 minutes of like reflecting for Sagittarius, so that you guys can really lock into the understanding of like what you just came through. Like I said, there are plenty of high vibing Sagittarius that mastered that understand that it's not just like one track mindedness of like what I want from the universe, but it's also like what am I intending to build with all this shit? Because I can manifest it, but then if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it, then once I get it all, it's like, oh wait, I don't know what to do. And you were sitting out here talking about everybody else's plan. See, that's what I'm saying. So again, Sag, holding you with so much love. I hope this Scorpio full moon continues to transform you for the best and highest timeline. And you are so deeply thought of, but there's so much beautiful accountability and awareness that's available to this sign, because I feel like Scorpio wants to put you upright in your natural disposition. You are such a potent energetic force, and spirit just wants you to get more out of being who you really are. So I love you, Sagittarius. Congratulations for all the beautiful things you're breaking through at this time. It takes a lot of courage to receive this message, to resonate, to not be scared, and to move from love rather than from fear. And so I'm just excited for you, because you are now understanding what praying with intention can do for you, rather than just praying because you're freaked out that you might not have what you need in life. Because you are always supplied for, and I think the universe just showed you that. They just showed you like you have more than enough, but now you've like let go of things because of like outdated beliefs that like need to be addressed. So love you, praying for the best for you, and we'll see you.